Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleSlam, the podcast brought to you all the way from Cork, Ireland. It is myself, Jerry, joined by Phil Connolly for another weekly show. Yet again, we'd like to thank everyone that has tuned into all our previous episodes. Yet again, thanks to you, we've hit big numbers as always. So look, we have a loyal following every week, and we thank you very much for that. And yet again, this show is brought to you by manscaped.com. Do check out the 4.0 package. Awesome goodies over at manscaped.com, and they're a proud sponsor of the WrestleSlam podcast. Matt's unfortunately at work. We're doing a morning show today. Normally we do an evening show, and Jer and Elizabeth are in New York living it up, so we are looking forward to seeing that return as well. But we're going to go balls deep, as we like to say here, via manscaped.com. Phil, William Regal, he was with All Elite Wrestling just a number of days ago. It looks like his contract has ended, and now he's on the way back to WWE for a backstage role. There was talks that he originally didn't want to take the All Elite Wrestling deal, but like, it's fair to say Regal's made a serious impact on All Elite Wrestling in that short period of time.
Yeah, how long was he there? About 8 months he was there.
8 months.
Yeah, he's also the smartest man in wrestling for sure, because like if you read into it, which I kind of looked into it there the other day, apparently his contract had, if Triple H ever comes back to power, that he can just walk from AEW. He must have smelled something before he signed the deal.
Yeah.
But he is, we haven't met him yet, but like I really want to meet that man, because he's such an iconic figure.
And like he's highly respected, Phil, because like since he's made that move to All Elite Wrestling, he's been part of the Blackpool Combat Club. Like he put together a stable. He worked with the best of the best, and then obviously bows out handing MJF knuckle duster, and then NJF turns on him then, which leaves the door open in a way,
Yeah, that was good. I know there was something up when they just randomly kicked him out. It was weird, and then obviously it came out a few hours later what the story was. But MJF fits MJF's character to do that, because MJF is an evil bastard.
Well, imagine MJF now signs a contract with WWE in 2024, and then there's a feud like where Regal fucks him up backstage or something. Do you know what I mean? Or Regal turns him down the road or somehow,
Yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of things going on there, but what he's doing is backstage stuff, I think.
So does that mean working with a wrestler, or more of a producer, or
probably both? It's good though. I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings again, because he shouldn't have been let go in the first place.
Yeah. Well, Triple H is putting things right. Speaking of putting things right, what's your thoughts on Raw this week? Obviously, it was last night. It was a poor episode, in my opinion.
Do you know what it was? And I mean this in any offense, but Raw's gone so bad again in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Last night was abysmal, and I don't get that whole card thing. I don't know. I just don't think you should build a show around lads playing cards for money, and it was just, I don't know what it was. It was just not very good.
Yeah, like obviously the Usos defeated Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens. Obviously, then we seen that Riddle was stretchered away. That was kind of, I suppose, the headline. People are saying, is he injured? Is it just a work? Is it something that they're building up?
I think they're just building up to Royal Rumble tag title match.
Yeah,
because Royal Rumble is so far away, and we're like December 6th, and there's no pay-per-views in between. The only thing about this is, like, does somebody watch All Elite Wrestling? Because this is the exact same
angle. It is the exact same, so they must have, I'd say. I said Triple H is watching it.
Yeah, it was a weird one. It was a weird one when I saw it. I was like, okay. But then again, I looked into it more again. Apparently, Omega is it his birthday or something?
Yeah, it was a celebration, I think.
Yeah. So they were kind of building up his Sokoa to kind of in memory of him, I suppose. But it was actually a very good beatdown.
Well, the beatdown was good.
The only thing I didn't like about it was the Elias stuff at the start. I thought that was rubbish.
Yeah. Poor Elias. I think Elias is kind of, he's a bit sidetracked again, isn't he? He came back and he's kind of just doing these bit parts, you know what I mean? I suppose they might be breaking him into something new, but As you said, that beatdown was good though.
Like if you were like watching that show right for the first time, a new fan, and you're going like, why the flick is he going in by himself to fight all these they're huge guys like,
Yeah.
and he tries to beat him up by himself and then he's taken out. I don't get it.
Good old Riddle. Good old Riddle.
Yeah.
And he's right now on WrestleInc.com. He's the front page of that as well. So obviously, look,
It's good. I like Riddle, and they need to be doing stuff with him. So this could lead to something, hopefully.
yeah, hopefully indeed. Obviously, we had a triple threat: Phil Bailey versus Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, and Bailey came away with the win. A lot of people kind of surprised Rhea Ripley didn't get that win, but I suppose it makes sense with Bailey, doesn't it? She's back, and she's back with a vengeance.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. I reckon as long, I think, are we going to get Rhea and Bianca at Royal Rumble? It could happen.
Yeah,
I
think
Rhea
will be the one to dethrone. She'll be the one to
Yeah,
beat her.
it's a good thing to be doing. Bailey needs to get these wins because she was becoming I don't like using the word fodder, but she was losing a lot of matches.
Yeah.
But it's good to see her back because she's talented without a doubt.
That indeed. Austin Terry defeated Mustafa Ali by disqualification. Obviously, there's a bit of heat there with Dolph.
Yeah.
What's your take of Austin Terry at the moment? Look, he's repackaged in a sense. He got his old name back. Obviously, United States champion. He lost Money in the Bank. Are they doing the right thing with him?
Without a doubt, because that thing wasn't working. The selfies. People just didn't buy it. But I think this serious Terry, the only thing now he needs is some credible wins. Not because I think next week they're having a number one contender match. And I reckon Rollins will win. So I reckon Terry will fight Rollins. But if he beats Rollins clean, that's a huge one.
That is huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. And Rollins will probably for the business, he's a good boy, you know. We'll have to say that about Rollins, you know, he's lost 3 times in a row to Cody. But it doesn't do anything to Rollins' stock. It never does. He's just such a good guy. Obviously, that's the best thing about Rollins, you know. Best thing. The OC defeated Alpha Academy. You know what I mean? One of the matches that just happens to be there, you know, and boring. You know, JBL is there. I don't. What's your take? What's your take on all this JBL stuff?
I was just going to get to it. Like, what's the story with Miz? Like, I know, like, he's with Dexter Lewis, but he came across so bad on this with the watch and him being broke. It just looks bad for the Miz's character. I know, like, people are saying the Miz is around so long he needs to change, whatever. But this is not how you get the Miz back on track.
I know.
But it was a weird one because it was like they were trying to do. Remember, like APA used to do that kind of card games, and that was all fun. But this just came across very, I don't know, like why is AJ Styles and these guys? It just it just drives you mad because those guys can do so much more than just that.
I know. It's
and there's so many of them there, like as well.
And they were all around the table. Like it looked unreal. Like I can see like Corbin looks the part. First of all, he's got the glasses on, the black hat. Obviously you've got Alpha Academy there and stuff. But yeah, it's just they're trying to give that attitude feel about it. It's interesting. Time will tell how that will pan out. But yeah, I'm all for that as well, Phil. I agree. It's just confusing.
It works if it's with the right people.
Yeah, and the right people weren't there, you know, like it wasn't your Trish Stratus walking in.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
While you know what I mean, you had JBL
like and Dudley Boys and the lads smoking cigars and all that kind of stuff. That was all cool.
The strip poker one was incredible, yeah. Dominic Mysterio, obviously he had a clean win. And obviously, look, Alexa Bliss defeating Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross in a triple threat. Were you surprised that Becky took a loss in a triple threat, Phil?
Kind of, but like again, it's kind of two-way things, and then it's kind of like if she fights her next week, Becky's got to win or be screwed. So
yeah,
I'm just hoping that this is not going to lead to a Becky Lynch Royal Rumble win because we don't need Becky. We need new stars and we need to create someone else.
Yeah,
and I don't want Becky winning the Royal Rumble.
You've got a very creative mind, right? So look, we're looking right now today. Now a lot can change between now and January. to the Royal Rumble, right? But as it looks right now, Phil, who's on course? If the Royal Rumble was to happen this Saturday, who would be the Royal Rumble winners in your opinion via male and female division?
Cody Rhodes isn't back, so Sami Zayn for sure in
Yeah.
the men's thing. But I'd say Rhea Ripley would be number one.
Yeah. So like, let's just say we have a WrestleSlam power ranking, and our power ranking would be the same. I'd have to agree. I'd have to say, first of all, Sami Zayn is number one. And I mean, number one over Roman, over everyone.
Yeah.
In my power ranking. And female-wise, I'd be the exact same as you. Rhea Ripley, she's $1 million.
Yeah, and then you'd have, like, I know we're doing power rankings, so then you would have Bianca, whose champion would be in the second place, because she is. You see her the other day with her, what was she doing again? The bodybuilding stuff.
The bodybuilding, yeah. Do you know who would be my number two in the men's?
Yeah.
Sheamus.
Yeah, like, again, I'm not far behind you. I'd say Sheamus as well at the moment.
Would you be surprised if Sheamus won the Royal Rumble?
I don't think he's going to be in it. I think they're going to do Sheamus and Reigns at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I really do. For some reason, I just have that in my head that that's the match they're going with.
Yeah. Is it a better match than Reigns and Owens, in your opinion, Sheamus and Roman? Because there's, like, we know Sheamus has beat Roman for the belt.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. I think right now I'd say yes, because Sheamus is having way better matches than Owens. Kevin Owens is a bit lost, so it's a tough one. It really is.
I'd be under the impression that Triple H has good time for Sheamus.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really good time from, like,
he'll get his moment at WrestleMania for sure this time.
Yeah. Interesting times. But look, that was a little debate. So our power rankings, myself and Phil are on the same page. Sami Zayn, number one. And if it was to be the Royal Rumble next week and Cody wasn't to come back, then we'd both agree.
Zayn, for sure, he has to.
Sami Zayn would win that. I like it. That's a good take. Obviously, there's been a lot of stuff happening. I'm just quickly going to go to WrestleInc.com. We like to catch in with all stuff there. Obviously, on the website right now, Colt Cabana comments on All Elite status and Chris Jericho match. Cain Velasquez, as we know, was released from prison. He's back wrestling, and I think he's currently wrestling with Triple A, and the run could lead up to WrestleMania. As we know, everyone is fully behind Cain Velasquez. There's no doubt about it. Dana White, I'd say, even WWE are behind him. Look, there's a tricky situation, but I think anyone in his situation would have done the same thing. And look, I'm myself behind him as well. Kurt Angle doesn't think WWE stars being utilized like they were under Vince McMahon. So there was something about Macho Man Randy Savage. A costume went for a big amount in Pawn Stars. Obviously, Umaga, that was trending. Obviously, it was an anniversary for him. One of a guy that was there for only a couple of years, but obviously made a huge impact.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was really, really good, really talented, and really highly, thought of in that company as well. So
a couple of news was there that I kind of wanted to mention because I didn't want to really leave it go out of my head.
Yeah, of course.
We want to send best wishes to Barry Windham, who had a heart attack yesterday.
Yeah, so Barry, get better, Barry. Get better, my man. He's a fighter. He's an absolute fighter.
Yeah, I think this is the second time he's had a heart attack. So hopefully now all goes well. It's always sad when it's around Christmas time and these stuff seem to happen.
Yeah, and like he's a legend. He had some great matches with Terry Funk.
The Four Horsemen stuff is legendary.
Yeah, and like I think his dad is Blackjack Mulligan, isn't he?
Yeah, they would have been all around. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's his father. Like, obviously he's iconic. He's still quite young, Phil, only 62.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's very young. It's a weird one because I kind of just missed him when I was coming up. I kind of caught the last 2 or 3 years of him wrestling when he was part of the new Blackjacks or something in the 98.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have really saw any of the other stuff, but I watched it over the years. He's iconic.
He is. And he could have been still the guy behind the whole Bray Wyatt thing.
Yeah.
So
Uncle Howdy, yeah.
it could be a change of plan. I always remember being Barry in the WCW game in, I think it was '99. He was in one of the first games that came out. I always remember getting Barry. Oh, when you have to do the career mode, you'd have to fight him, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, iconic. Barry, all the best, my man, from everyone here in Cork, Ireland, and the WrestleSlam team. We wish you a speedy recovery, and
There's
hopefully,
one or two other weird stories. There's one very weird story that came out 2 days ago. This is from the Kurt Angle podcast.
yeah.
Brock Lesnar apparently wanted to sign with TNA in 2007.
And they didn't want to pay the money.
The owners wouldn't pay the 6-7 figure sum or whatever it was. But I don't know how true this is. I mean, Kurt Angle obviously said on his podcast, but like, I don't know, is that like Kurt or Brock just saying like, see what the story is, or did he legit want to like come in? You know what I mean?
Well, if you look at that era, that was one of the greatest wrestling eras. You had Samoa Joe. They were called Main Event Mafia, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was around that time, yeah.
So that was a good time to watch it. There was big viewers. Obviously, Brock was probably asking for back then 3-4 million.
It says over $1 million a year.
Yeah, that would have been big money. I suppose
but
business
again, like for that $1 million a year, he'd be only wrestling very few times a year.
Would that have harnessed his legacy?
I'd say no, but it would have put TNA, could have put them in real trouble financially, because that wasn't good.
Would have, like, just for argument's sake, if he did go to TNA that time, do you reckon it would have been a big thing?
Oh, huge, unbelievably big.
Yeah.
I would have been delighted. Like, he was gone that time, 3 years out of wrestling. So yeah, like, it would have been something. All right, it would probably have been the WW. Maybe it could have sparked something.
Yeah, and like, that would have been the UFC time too. He was probably champion in the UFC around then, was he?
He was, yeah. He was just getting into it. I think that was the thing there. So yeah, no, it's just something I wanted to bring up because it's an interesting story. Other news. Ric Flair has something on the WWE network, which is very surprising.
Woo! The Nature Boy. Yeah, Rick just seems to have that connection all the time with WWE. They love him, they hate him, they love him, they hate him. Triple H is his best friend. Triple H stabbed him in the back.
I know, it's so. To be fair, like, they should just get over it, like, because like if Rick died next year or whatever, Triple H will have regret if he didn't talk to him.
It seems that Triple H is a good guy, right? And it seems Flair he must be crazy on a few drinks or something.
He is crazy in general.
He must ruin a relationship in the space of an hour after a few brandies or whatever. Like, but we know Triple H has done a lot for him. They brought him back to the company when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And he had a very, very good run, like.
Yeah.
Do you know, so wasn't there a time he wrestled? Did he wrestle for the championship? In his late 50s, I'd say he did, didn't he? Maybe before the Michaels match.
He definitely did on Raw and stuff like that. He definitely did. Maybe not a full-on pay-per-view matches, but he definitely did Raw. So wasn't Hogan Flair for the belt there one time in 2002?
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of, like.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I might have seen that pop up on YouTube or something. But yeah, Ric Flair.
In other small news, as I say, small news, Tegan Knox is back on SmackDown.
She is. She came back last Friday. That was great for Tegan. Look, she has a lot of demons to put to bed, a lot of injuries and stuff. Very talented, Phil. We knew her. As what was her name again? It was what was the name of OTT?
What was her name? Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Nixon Newell.
That's the one.
Nixon Newell. We remember we interviewed her and she was in a really good match. It was 3-on-3.
Like, only 28, so she's got a lot still to go.
She does, but she's a big personality, in my opinion. You know what I mean? She's got a great fan base. You know, obviously the Welsh Wizard. Yeah. She's a great wrestler. She's obviously been told not to do some of the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
We know
She's got to lay off of the dives to the outside for 100%. I don't think she should be doing them anymore. Because I think Paige put up recently that she's not doing certain moves, so I'd say she should follow in her footsteps.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Other news then as well that I was just reading, because there seems to be a lot of news. Lacey Evans has been repackaged for like the 100th time.
Lacey Evans, she definitely has something.
Yeah, she does, but like they keep on jumping from something to something to something. I don't know what do you reckon? What you make of this army thing that she's doing? Because it's a weird, weird thing to keep doing with her.
When she made her debut, she was really good, and then they repackaged her there recently, and we were like, the first week it was like, right, this is going to be really good, but like,
yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know, is it just her promos? Is it something about, I don't know what they're not getting. She really is a good wrestler. She's a Marine.
She's almost like the female Claudio Castagnoli.
That's the perfect description. Description. That's exactly what it's like. It's like they have something and they can't find the product. It's like the champion that should have been, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's madness.
Yeah, it's been a weird one. And then this whole week coming up, there's a big Ring of Honor show and there's an NXT show at the weekend. There's so much happening. It's like all the wrestling is being just thrown at us constantly.
It is, and we just have to mention Aoife Valkyrie.
Yes, that's what I forgot to say. Actually, yes.
So Aoife is back. We seen the big promo that dropped last week, which was incredible. Now she's gonna go with a more Irish name. So it's Valkyrie, you know. What way would you say it? So
it's like Lyra Valkyrie or something.
Yeah, Lyra Valkyrie. It's beautiful. It's an Irish name. Obviously, I think the promo, the way the feathers have dropped, she's gone from one place to a new place. And I think they're onto something big. I've said it since day one, even when Aoife was wrestling for OTT. You just always knew. You just always knew that she was going to do something big. So what we gather, she's obviously coming back from a big injury as well.
Yeah, big injury. And I hope this goes well now this time.
Definitely, and like she's quite young. I think she's 26. Obviously, we know her throughout the years. Aoife is an absolute superstar. Obviously, she's been part of NXT UK, but now she goes to NXT in America. So I'm assuming, Phil, she's going to make that move, and I suppose, look, she's going to have Jordan Devlin and all the lads to look after her, because look,
exactly.
It's
and
probably,
you know what? It actually could happen as soon as this weekend, because there's a big show at the weekend, NXT deadline on the 10th. So she could debut after the women's match on that show, because it wouldn't surprise me. She's all the talent in the world. Let's just hope for her sake that she, again, as we said, just stays clean health, because the future is bright for her.
Definitely, and we can't forget, like, she's a former OTT Women's Champion, an Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion. She was a pro wrestler, Ulster Champion, and she's also a tag team champion with Debbie as well. So Lyra Valkyrie, that's going to be the name, aka Aoife Valkyrie. We know her as Aoife Cusack. It's guys, make sure you watch out. This girl is incredible, and look, she made a storm in NXT UK. We all know that. So look, she's going to be NXT America. So all you Europeans, Americans, watch out. Aoife arrives, and it will be incredible. So do keep an eye on that. One more bit
of news that just popped up on my thing there. Steve Corino's son could be joining NXT very, very soon.
So just remind people, Phil, who Steve Corino is, because obviously he had a very
very, very, very good indie career, but he never got a chance in WWE. He was incredible in ECW in the 90s.
Yeah, he's Canadian too, isn't he? I think he was Ring of Honor, and obviously extreme.
He was never given it. Wasn't he, like, his gimmick was like the King of the Indies or something like that?
Yeah,
but he never got the chance to showcase what he could do in a bigger environment. I think he was in TNA in the old days, but that was the really old days. But he did go to WWE eventually, and was kind of, we met him and we at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
So he's kind of a behind the scenes training wrestlers. But his son is quite young and he's currently in NWA. But a lot of people are leaving NWA at the moment due to certain things that are going on there, which we won't go into because it's to be a whole different kettle of fish. But his son is supposed to be talented, but I haven't seen enough of him to take any judgment. So hopefully he'll be on NXT in the new year and we'll be able to see a lot more of him.
That'd be great. So if anyone has any info, any video links via Steve Corino's son, do send them our way. Cody Carino. Put them in the comments and we will check them out as well. So yet again, that's something to keep an eye on, guys, for sure. Now we'll also have an Impact Star on with us this week. So do stay tuned for that. But as always, it's great to have everyone tuned in. There's not really been a lot happening in the world of wrestling. Normally we'd have a lot more to talk about, but yet again, it's just one of them weeks. So yet again, from myself, Jerry, from Phil Conley, thank you very much for tuning in. And we will catch you all next week for a brand new episode of WrestleSlam the podcast. Until then, be safe, take care, and we'll catch you soon, guys.